So today I thought I would film a September TBR video. I have not made a TBR for myself in months and months. Not honestly sure what came over me, but I did have a lot of fun making my TBR, and it has gotten me very excited for fall, crisp weather, new beginnings, and just hopefully getting to read a lot and cozy up inside and outside before it gets too cold. I'm trying to think if there are really any themes to what I have in my stack. I would say a lot of them are pretty serious compared to what I have been reading this year. I feel like this year has just been truly like a wash of a reading year. Like, it has not been the best, and I think it's because I haven't picked up that many emotionally gripping, serious stories. I definitely think those are the stories though that I give 5 stars. Like, I love a story that's going to make me feel things, make me cry, get me invested in everybody's personal lives. That's definitely more what I like. I definitely think though that I just got so caught up in what everybody else was reading that I was going a lot out of my comfort zone this year, which has been fun, but I don't know, it hasn't been the best reading year for me. But anyway, so I have 6 books to talk to you about. 2 I'm in the middle of, pretty much like the beginning, like 10 to 30 pages in both. One of them is a library book, the other ones I own. For me, a TBR must always be full of books that I have immediate access to. I used to try and make TBRs full of books that I didn't own, didn't have a hold on at the library, thinking, I guess, that I was just gonna go out and like buy books because it was on my TBR, and I never did that. Like, why would anyone do that? At least it couldn't be me. So yes, I noticed in the past that to have a successful TBR, I needed to actually have books and not put any pressure on myself to go and get them in some way. I also want to preface this video by letting you know that I will be reading from Goodreads Storygraph, from inside the book, just depending on what's available, just to make sure that I'm giving you all accurate information on what the books are about, the feelings they might bring up, and just like the vibes they're going to give off, because I don't want to give you inaccurate information and you get so excited about a book that ends up being nothing like that because I remembered incorrectly. So yes, just so you know. So the first book I am going to tell you about today, I'm about 30 pages in, but I am liking it so far. Right now it's probably sitting at like a 4-star. It's called Jerks by Sarah Lippman. I got it from my local indie bookstore. It is a collection of short stories. I don't know if all, but a lot of our main characters are young women. And Storygraph says, with Jerks, Sarah Lippman rides the proverbial clutch between wanting and having. The messy characters in these 18 stories may hack up their bedsheets with group sex, anonymous sex, sexual history, infidelity, and a literal handsaw, but there's tenderness too among the lust and rage. Even when fantasy offers a shortcut to oneself without connection, it's a lonely escape. With crisp precision, ample honesty, and desperate humor, Lippman delivers an irresistibly fraught cast of characters at various stages of undress. So it kind of seems like it is going to put a lot of humor into just the mundane, day-to-day, like, feelings and thoughts of being a young woman trying to figure it all out. I will say that I have never heard of this book. The only reason I picked it up was honestly because of the cover, and then of course I like read what it was about, but the cover just definitely got me. It just, I don't know, there's something about this that just really pulled me in, and I am happy that I am reading it right now. So the second book I'm going to tell you about is from the library. It's called The Adult by Bronwyn Fisher. I believe I heard Hannah from Hannah.May. I don't know if she recommended it, but it was in one of her videos, whether it was like a TBR or just like a book she's excited for. One of her videos, she had this, and I looked into it because I really liked the cover, and it sounded very interesting to me, and it sounds like the perfect time to read it. It's about this girl who goes off to college for the first time. She is just dealing with all of the feelings of being alone and kind of in a new place without her family. She is feeling lonely, lost. She's really grappling with the idea of who she wants to be, slash who she really thinks she is, and all those types of feelings. Just a lot of like identity thoughts, feelings, confusion, and just like who are you and what do you want, and just like being a grown-up and dealing with all those things. I think I don't know if she falls in love with slash gets involved with a professor who works at her school. I don't think it's her professor, but something like that. One of her lady professors she becomes friends with, and I think they get romantically involved. And I'm just so excited to see how this plays out. I've heard it compared to Sally Rooney, Elif Batuman. I've never read them, but I've heard people love The Idiot. So yeah, I'm so excited. I am liking it so far, but I am like less than 20 pages in. So I definitely don't have a good read on it yet, but I'm excited to pick this up. It really feels like the best time of year to pick up a going to college book. This next book I also just bought at my local indie. I definitely did not need to be buying more books, but I also have wanted to read this for years now. It's called The Deeper the Water, The Uglier the Fish, and it just sounds so dark and sad, and it's described as a horror novel. It sounds like our two main characters are these young sisters, which is also just something I've been really into, like reading from the perspective of like young women or like young girls, and just like girlhood and womanhood in general, and just kind of like what makes a girl a woman, like that whole just arc in everybody's life. And it sounds like one of their parents committed suicide, and maybe after they died they found out some crazy stuff about their parents' life. After the fact, it sounds like they're both dealing with the death in very different ways. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great and amazing things about this one, so I'm very, very excited for this. And I believe it was published from a small publishing house in Columbus, Ohio, which is cool. I'm from Ohio, so pretty neat. This next book kind of touches on like similar topics. I think it's called Brutes by Diz Tate. I believe it's set in Florida. We're following a group of young girls who are, I don't want to say obsessed with, but mesmerized by one of the older girls in the neighborhood. Everyone thinks she's cool and pretty and fun, and just like everybody wants to be her or be with her kind of deal. And it sounds like she goes missing, and everybody's freaked out, and they dig up all these small town secrets and craziness. So it sounds dark but also entertaining, pretty serious, dark without being a thriller, which I'm happy about. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one as well. Okay, so I have 2 books left. This one is called Second Place by Rachel Cusk. I literally feel like everybody has read this already. I have not. And honestly, I'm not the most sure what it's about. I just know that people love her writing and find it to be very relatable. So I'm excited to read it. So it says, a haunting fable of art, family, and fate from the author of the Outline Trilogy. A woman invites a famous artist to use her guest house in the remote coastal landscape where she lives with her family. Powerfully drawn to his painting, she believes his vision might penetrate the mystery at the center of her life. But as a long, dry summer sets in, his provocative presence itself becomes an enigma and disrupts the calm of her secluded household. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm happy it's short. Honestly, that's part of the reason I put it in this TBR, because I feel like some of these books seem longer-ish. So I definitely wanted to give myself just like a moment to just like catch up. And I am excited to read that one. The last one is probably the least serious out of them all. I have wanted to read this for, it feels like a while now. I don't know why I was putting it off. I just didn't want to buy like a brand new hardcover book, honestly. But it's called Schmutz by Felicia Berliner. I've heard this compared to Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. Just like a young, funny, dark story about a young woman who learns a lot about her identity and what she likes sexually and how it affects the rest of her life. I believe the main character in this book ends up with, I don't know if they technically call it an addiction in the book, but she discovers porn for the first time and gets so into it that it starts to affect her relationships, going to school, her job, and I think she's just trying to like grapple with like, what does this mean about me, and how does this affect my relationship with my friends, and how does it affect my relationship with my family, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it'll be funny and hopefully smart and very like explicit and like to the point and funny in a sad way. I think that's what I'm hoping, at least. So yeah, I'm excited to get to all these books. I'm sorry I couldn't offer you up more information about them, but like I said before, I haven't read them. So yeah, I would love to know though if you've read any of them. Where should I start? Are any of them a favorite? I would love 5-star this month. That's a goal I have, truly. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.